So hope you are able to see the page clearly. In case it gets blurred in between, please unmute yourself and let me know. And please let me know with a thumbs up if my audio is clear. Great. Okay, perfect. So today we are still going to continue with some more basic exercises, and the next class, or maybe the class after next, is when we are going to actually go on portrait creation. Okay, so today we are going to learn about symmetry. So if you have a scale, you can get a scale, or else if you do not have a scale, then maybe you can get a pencil also. Okay, so you have a scale. Great. So with a pencil or a scale, draw the center line in the page. Okay, so just draw the line very lightly and use the lightest pencil. So see, I have drawn the line so lightly that you may not even be able to see it. So any reference line which we draw, those are for us to get the shapes better. Okay, so those are only guiding lines for us to help us draw the any of our drawings better. Okay, so uh, I will wait for one more minute for everyone to come back, and then we can resume. Right. Okay, so yeah. Okay, great. So now once you have drawn the line, we are again going to draw some very basic casual shapes. Okay, so we are going to start from the bottom. We're going to draw something like this, and I will use a darker pencil so that you are able to see. Okay, the next step is to draw, come back. Next is to draw another leaf here, another leaf here. Okay, and then draw a leaf like this and connect the 2 points. Okay, so right now we are drawing only on the right side of the line. Okay, next up you can draw something parallel here, something parallel here, and connect this. Okay, next you can draw a curve like this and another curve like this. Yeah, and then you can connect this one, then have some more curls here. Okay, I would emphasize on practice of these flow lines because I would do a brief recap of what we discussed the other day. So we discussed to draw a lot of horizontal lines and hold the pencil from behind. So don't hold the pencil very closely, and hold it from behind and draw horizontal lines as and when you get time. Next, last time we discussed was to draw the circles and try to hold the pencil and get the circles, as many circles as possible into the page. Okay, and third up we discussed on how to create the value scales. So we started with very dark shades and then we eventually ended up creating very light shades. Okay, so now all these things, and then we also discuss about different scales in the boxes. So we discuss about various other exercises. So I will send the photographs of all those things. So these are the basics. So these you need to practice uh, at least in the initial days once you are learning to draw, so that your hand movement becomes smooth and you get a feel of the pencil, like how to get smooth tones with the pencil. Okay, so these basic exercises are important. And the third important exercise is the one which we are doing now, is to create flow lines. This flow lines will help you move the pencil in a desired curve. Okay, yeah. So you can also practice the infinity which we discussed about the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your net.
Yeah, Nithyananda, your voice was breaking. Can you repeat the question?
I'm just checking if it was my internet or yours. I just couldn't hear
No,
you.
it's fine. It's fine now. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just your voice was dropping out. So can you repeat the last two instructions?
Okay. So the last two things was, I was just saying that you can draw the flow lines. So you can practice the infinity curve or draw some random curves whenever you get time. If my notebook is visible, something like this. So this will help you in pencil movement. So this is an important exercise. And also the gradient scales, which we discussed about the other day. This is also a very important exercise. So basically this will improve the pencil handling, which is which is the base for any drawing. And the third one are the flow lines. Right. So is the audio clear? Can you give me a thumbs up to let me know?
Yeah, audio is clear.
Okay, great, perfect. Okay, so we are continuing with this now. So next up, what you can do is you can start another layer from here. Okay, and then you can start another layer from here. Again, these are some random shapes and forms, which is basically a practice to improve pencil handling. Okay, then you can draw a parallel curve inside. Connect it here. Okay, now we are going to draw one more leaf on top of it. Okay, next up, we'll draw one more curve here. Take it back. And take a small curve and make this leaf fall from here. Okay, and then you can connect these two. Okay, then you can again take a curve from here to here. Drop another curve from here to here and connect these two. Okay. Last, make a curve from here, draw a curve from here, from the center of the line, and connect these two leaves. Okay, and finally you can create a half diamond kind of a shape here. Right? Correct. So now what we are trying to do is to create a similar symmetry on the other side. Okay. So now, I mean, ideally what should happen is your brain should start judging. Say this distance is starting from here. So if you draw a virtual line, so somewhat here the leaf should start, right? And it should come and end here. And the curve, if I create a mirror image of this, the curve will go the other way. Are you able to visualize this? Like how to create a mirror image? Liz, is it fine for you? You're able to understand what is a mirror image? Yeah. Okay. So here what you do is you create a curve like this and create like this. Okay. Then same way you can try to see where this line is, right? This point is. You can see draw a virtual line here and approximately, need not be exact, but approximately at the same level you can put a point here. Okay. And then you can try to connect this line from here. Okay, so now for me, this curve has become little shallow and this one has become little deep. So I'll try to correct this one, the right one. Okay. Idea is to have similar images on both the side. Yeah. Okay. Next up, bring the leaves inside and join it like this. Okay. And then you can draw a parallel line here and draw a curve here. Okay, we are not using any scale or any other thing to measure here. So little bit the distortions are okay, but try to train your mind to create mirror images of the thing which you see on the right. Okay. So now I'm not going to instruct on each curve. So you can try to follow on your own and try to create the drawing which is on the right, a mirror of this on the left. Okay. Okay, what you can also do is you can draw a little lightly and then darken it so that you get the proportions correctly. Right? And then I'll make the leaf fall from here. Correct? And then we'll move to the next leaf. Correct. And finally, we are going to complete the top one. For me, the topmost leaf is somewhat big, so I will try to make it smaller. Yeah. Let me know once you are done with the thumbs up.
So on the third one on your left,
Yes, ma'am.
you haven't done that flower. I mean that hanging one.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Thanks for that. So I think I need to do the symmetry there. Yeah. So let me know once it is done. Sorry. Liz Anand Priyama Yashwi. Is it done? Can you show me how is it looking? Okay, great. So try to get it as symmetrical as possible. So once you practice these kind of exercises more and more, I can show you something. So for example, here I was trying to create one Hanuman painting, okay, where I have drawn the first half only. So I drew a center line and I just did the right side of it, and then I will try to create the left side of it. So that will train your brain to create more symmetric objects in the face. Because if you see our face, we have like the eyes, both the eyes are symmetrical, the nose, the nostrils are symmetrical, okay, the lips also, the right portion and the left portion are symmetrical, and and then we have ears. So a perfect face will be a symmetrical face, right? So this is the idea of this exercise. I have drawn some other ones also. Maybe you can try designs like this. I will try to send something in the WhatsApp group. So during the week, just do this practice. Draw the first right and then draw the left side of it. Yeah, great, Rajivji. Yours is the best, I guess. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So don't worry if it is not perfect, the symmetry is not coming. Okay, see, the one thing in drawing to keep in mind is you need not worry about the perfection. The moment you start bothering yourself with the perfection, then the drawing starts getting affected. Because anything can be art, even if you draw a line wrongly, it can be an artistic expression coming out of it. Right? So just practice and keep improving on this aspect. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, great. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah. It's nice. It's good. It's good.
Oh,
Yes, ma. Gover, I think your mic is muted. I'll mute it. Okay, great. Okay, so next up, we are going to do one more small exercise, which is not related directly to portrait, but it is very important. Yeah, Shri Ganeshwara is showing something. Yes, it is good, ma. I think we'll improve on this once we practice it more. Okay. Okay. So now I'll switch back to the speaker view. Okay, great. It's full screen. Yeah. Okay. So the next exercise is a simple one. You can try this also once once you're free during the week. So what you can do is you can draw something like a line, and you can follow it along with me. So make a line.
one request.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
we have to go on the left or the center or the right, can you please tell? Because I'm on one page. My mind is a big page. So I can sort of judge
Sure,
how
ma'am.
much
So
place
I think we'll just draw something like this. So you need to have a space of a triangle on the right.
Okay.
Okay, great. I'll try to tell it next time. Okay. So draw another line. Okay. And then drop a straight line from the center. Okay, you can try to draw it lightly and then also make it and I'm not trying to make it perfectly straight. I'm giving it some curves here because it's what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to draw a piece of cloth here. Okay, so you can give it a little bit curve as you want, but try to drop a straight line. Okay, and next you can drop a line here, something like this. Okay, and then connect this with a curve here. It's not a straight line. This one is a curve, small curve. Right? And then you can continue this curve, like you can follow the flow of this curve and try to join this end. Okay, and then you can create another curve here. Okay, so now we are going to shade this piece of cloth. So either you can use, so this pencil is a sharpened pencil. So if I try to do a shading with this one, then I need to go in cross motions and always, I try to get the lighter values first. So what happens is initially the pencil tip is very sharp. So if I put the pencil like this, okay, if I put the pencil like this, I'll start getting lines. Okay, but if I tilt the pencil a little bit and maybe you can rub it against a sandpaper or on a rough surface, so what it does is it smoothens the tip of your pencil. Okay, and ideally for this kind of shading, pencil with a thicker lead will be better than pencil with a thinner lead. So if you see here, this one, right one is the thinner, this one is the thicker one, right? and I can bring in one more also. So this is more thin. So as you go H, 4H, 8B, so the lead thickness will increase. So ideally for shading, the thicker leads are better. Right?
So that is 8B, is it?
This is 2B, this is 8B, yeah, I guess. No, this is 6B. And
so 2B, 6B, and 8B.
Yeah. I guess 2B, 4B, 6B I have in my hand right now. I have 8B here. So this is 8B. Yeah, I think this is sharpened in a different way, but this one also has a thicker lead if you see. The lead size is a little more, nearer to 6B. Yeah. And all are different brands. So I'm not using like same brand because I mean, you can use anything as long as you are able to put the right pressure. Okay, so we'll move ahead. So basically with 6B, just make the tips little flatter. Okay, and first thing is you can try to put lighter values. So you can shade the whole thing lightly. Right, very light values. So I am just going in the cross motion right now. I'm not going along with the flow of the cloth. Okay, I'm just going in the cross motion very lightly.
So you have used 6B, am I right?
Yes, I have 6B. Yes. Ultimately, the grades of the pencil don't matter much, because I can do the same effect, bring the same effect with a 8B and a 10B, because it's like how lightly I am trying to put the pressure. So see, right now I have 8B in my hand and I'm creating more lighter values than 6B. Right? So the grade doesn't matter, and you don't need to be very particular about the grades. I mean, that's how I approach it. What I do is I try to see the relative values. So whatever is on the right, how light it is, next to it, how much darkness I need to have. So I just see it as two shades, light and dark. That's it. Okay, so I'll rub this one not to confuse you. Okay, so so since we did our first layer with the 6B, but now since I have done with 6B, maybe like, I'm just switching to 8B. So now I'm going a little bit across and trying to create a shade. So once the folds are there, I'm trying to create a shade behind the fold. So once a cloth is there, right, there will be a shadow falling behind the cloth, right? So you can try to create, you can go across and create some light shadows there. And since there is a fold here, so there can be a shadow here, right? And slowly what you can try to do is you can try to merge this darkest value and have a gradient here. So like, don't have abrupt changes. So you can have a gradient and then come in, something like this. Okay, so dark, then little darker, less darker, less darker, less darker, and as you come in, it should become light. Okay, so the edge is the darkest. Okay. Similarly, in this, I'm visualizing that, okay, there will be some, I'm just drawing it. Ideally, you need not draw it, but I'm visualizing that, okay, there will be some fold where the light is falling on this area. Okay, so the area here, the light is falling. Okay, so the area around it will have some shadows. So I'm creating again very light shades. So whenever you're working with graphite, right, don't go too dark in the first hand. Even with creating our outlines, I have created little darker outlines just to show you in the camera, because otherwise it will not be visible. If I draw like too light, it is not visible because of the camera. But don't go with the darkest values first. Go with the lightest values first. Okay, so I'm again shading the full length except the area where I feel the light is falling. Right. So if you see, there is white color and then there is a abrupt change. So I have something called as a Kohinoor eraser. So these days you have these pencil type of erasers available on the market. So either this one or also we have a Tombow Mono lead type of erasers. This is a Kohinoor brand. So if you want to use for very fine erasing, these pencils are really good. If you don't have them, then there are other options like kneadable erasers, or you can use the other tip of your eraser and then you can use it. So anything, but I didn't want an abrupt change in the lighting. So what I have done is I have extended the highlight till the end of the cloth. Okay, and again I will just try to increase the darkness on the top because the light is falling from an angle, so the top will be dark. Okay, now what I will do is I will make the edge on the outside of the edge of this cloth very dark, because that's where the cloth is turning, right? So that edge will be very evident, and then I can create a very light shadow behind. Right, and finally the final fold. So you can visualize that the cloth is again folding from here inside, something like this. Okay, it's going in. So you can have a dark shadow behind this. Okay, and you notice last time for this we put the strokes like this, right? We were doing across. This time you can go along the flow of the cloth. So it actually doesn't matter like how you, I mean, as per me, it doesn't matter how you put the strokes first, because eventually we have to blend it all and we have to go both down and across so that the blending becomes smooth. Okay. So two important things what I want to communicate is don't worry too much about the grade and don't worry too much about the stroke directions. Okay. Ideally the strokes are, if they are along the flow of a curve, then it is good, but even if they are across it, there is always a way you can give the shape to the object with different shadows, lights and shades. Okay, so you make the other side of the cloth also dark, so it will make the whole thing pop out a bit. And then you can have maybe a curve across this edge if you want. Right, and again I'm going to use this kneadable eraser to put some highlights. That's it. But this is not a kneadable eraser. This is a pencil eraser. I have some kneadable eraser also. Maybe I'll get it next time and show it to you. Or else you can use the other side. So whenever you are using the rubber, you don't use both the sides. Okay, you can keep this side safe and just use this edge for fine erasing. Okay, that is also possible. So don't like use the rubber for drawing purposes from both the sides. Any questions?
Yeah, the strokes for me are basically not very blended. So what should I do?
Okay. Which pencil are you using, Aya?
It was 6B and then 8B. This is Camlin.
Okay, so maybe again for blending, the exercise which I told you was the value scales. So basically you can practice this value scales, and since I have been doing a lot of portraits, it comes very naturally to me that I put my strokes very closely. But if you once you are new, maybe you can do something like this, like you can have strokes spread over different spaces. So in that case, you need to practice this one more. That is number one. Number two is the method, the trick which I told was, you can use a long sharpened pencil and use the side. So instead of holding the pencil like this and then creating the strokes, you can hold the pencil like this, if you're able to see something like this. Okay, and then you can create flatter strokes and go with the lightest values first and then go with the darker values. For graphite, it is the simple rule. Even for charcoal, I think this rule works.
Yeah.
Yes, ma.
I have also drawn this.
I am not able to see. Okay, Rajiv. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Should we use some kind of cotton or some paper?
First, the cotton paper, there are many blending styles. We have a session dedicated for blending, and in that I will teach about different blending techniques. So we have something called as paper stump. So I can use this paper stump to make it even more smoother, and it will go little more darker and stuff. But these things are not very good to begin with, because first is you need to learn to how to use your pencil itself to do the blending smooth. Okay, because that's what makes the drawing pop up. Because if you see, now I have used the paper stump and this side has become more darker now. Okay, so the value which I wanted to bring, I have to like think always with I need to go a little lighter and then use paper stump to make it darker, right? And one more technique which you can use is, say I have put some lines like this, okay, and I want to blend this now. So you start putting some lines across. Okay, so once I have put lines like this, if they are visible, and then you put some lines across it. Okay, so once you do it across, I mean, I have done dark because to make it visible on the camera, but if you do something like this and something like this, then it eventually blends.
Okay.
And
is it the paper also makes a difference? Because right now I'm doing on A4 sheet. Maybe that's why it is little more.
Paper, see, right now if you see, I'm just using a regular classmate notebook. I'm not even using a drawing sheet, you see. So yeah, I mean, it's a very basic notebook. It's not even a drawing paper. Yes, papers are good, but at the end of the day, pencil, paper, material, all these things are important. I don't say that they are not important. They are good tools to help you, but at the end of the day, the more focus you have on your drawing, and the hand control and the more trained your eyes are to analyze the lights and the shades, the better your drawings will get. Yes.
Okay, awesome.
I can see a lot of drawings. Ganeshwara, yes, great. Okay, so finally we'll come to some face part. Okay, we have been doing a lot of random things, but all these are very important exercise. Again, the cloth exercise, I'll give you some more because our face has a lot of folds, right? So once you try to understand where object folds without looking at it again in the context of an eye or a nose or a mouth, then I think you will get the light and shades and the shapes better. Okay, so today, as a final thing, we are going to do an eye. Okay, so get ready with your pencil and paper. We are going to do a big eye. So maybe if you can have a center of the sheet, or at least this much space, I mean, available, so that we can have a big eye here. Okay. So again, you can, I mean, if you see, I start with 6B directly, mostly because I can control the pressure I am putting on the pencil. But if you want, for the basic sketch, you can use the lightest pencil you have, 2B or HB, or even H or 2H is good. Okay. So first, Let me know if you are able to see the lines, because I'm not sure if they're clear. The lines are clear? Okay, great. Okay, so first we are going to draw a tilted line. Okay, and then we are going to create another line only. Okay, and then we are going to drop it here, something like this. Okay, so this is the top lid of the eye, and on top of it again I'm going to create a parallel line here, little longer. Okay, and a parallel line here. Okay, and then we are going to draw another line here. Okay, this one will be smaller than this and need not be, exactly the same size. This can be smaller. Then you can go and draw a line like this. Okay, I'm drawing a little darker so that it's visible, but you can go as light as possible. So all these boxes, you see our line is round, right? But we are drawing this angled lines and boxes kind of structure. So all these are called as construction lines. So always, if you want to get a portrait or a sketch good, it's always good to have some construction lines built for every shape. Okay. So right now for eye, I am using this kind of construction. You can use any other kind of construction which is comfortable, but the idea is to break the structure which you are seeing into further flatter shapes. Okay. So right now I have just created something like this. Okay, and I'm also going to create one more reference line here, just to see how the eye is distributed across this line. So I have just created one more line here. All these lines again are not mandatory, so it's not like every time you have to draw an eye you will have to draw this. It's just that as a beginner, once you are trying to learn shapes, it's good to break them down into smaller chunks so that you can focus on specific areas and then you can build from there on. Okay, so the next step is to create a circle here. Okay, and don't place the circle exactly in the center, because if you see this side is, once you're looking in front, this side is little smaller and this side is little bigger. Okay, so little bit on the right side of your eye you can put a big circle. Okay, right, if you see I am drawing it as lightly as possible. Right, and from this point, maybe at some distance, maybe somewhat here, at an angle, you can say, I can say this is some angle here. Okay, you can draw the brow line. So you can have something like this and you can drop it here, right, and just have this like something like this still here. These are the eyebrows. Right? Are you ready with this basic shape? Give me a thumbs up once you are ready. Yeah, okay, great. Okay, now I'm going to take the darkest pencil which is okay, not the darkest. I'll take a 6B. Okay, and then I'm going to simply go around this and create a curve. Okay, so if I'll just neglect this edges, round edges which I have created, and I'm going to curve this line from here, and I'm going to curve it till here. Okay, so this is the teardrop portion of the eye, and I'm going to curve it like a ball. Okay, so our eyeball is a sphere. Okay, so it's a big sphere, a portion of which is visible through the eyelids. Okay, next up you can create something like this, right? And just make this portion of the eye darker. Don't make the whole line darker here. Okay, just make this portion darker. Okay, don't make the full eye dark, just make the edges of the eyes dark. Okay, and then we are going to create a center ball for eye. Okay, and then we are going to just create a curve around this, the top one. We are just going to make it little darker and curve it like this. Okay, not too dark right now, keep it light. The darkest values we are going to add towards the end always. Right, and then what we're going to do is we are going to shade the eyeball. Okay, so go again very light, the way we have been shading the cloth. Go very light. Okay, don't go very dark in this, otherwise it will make the eye look not so good. Okay, so you can go across the full eyeball length. So you see it's a curve, but I am shading it in a diagonal fashion, because to bring the roundness I will use the darkness and the lighter values to make it round. Okay, shade it very lightly. One important thing I missed is maybe you can have two more small circles here. Okay, something like this. So these are the highlights. So basically, once the light fall on your eyeball, there are certain portions of your eyes which get lit up. So these are very important to make the eye look realistic. I'm done. Okay. I'll mute the girls if you don't have any questions. Yeah. Okay, and then the top of the eye, you see here, from here it's like a fold, right? It's this portion of the eye is a fold. So below this is eyelid, and this eyelid goes somewhere in this direction. So below this there will be the darkest shadow. Okay, so right now what you can do is you can make this portion of eye very dark. You can make it the darkest. Okay, And also this eyeball is a dark one. It's like either it's like brown for some, or it's like completely black, and this one has different like green colors and different shades, right? So but the centermost portion is always the darkest. So you can make this one also maximum dark. Okay, so if you see, the circle is starting to disappear on the top, right? Because the shadow is so dark here that it is merging with the darkness of this eyeball. And while you are shading, you can always correct your shapes. Right? Then what we are going to do is we are going to come down in a gradient. So maybe if the light is falling from this angle, this side, then there will be a shade, and there will be a highlight which will follow here, and there will be light which will fall here, and then there will be a shade here, right? So you can come down in a gradient way, and that's where the practicing of gradient is so important, the value scales. Okay, because you don't want something like a very dark thing and a very light thing in the eye, because it will not make it look good, right? So you want a smooth transition into lightness, right? So you come into a gradient fashion, and now you can go from the eyeball, you can go into diagonal fashion, something like this, because our inner eye has some random structures inside it. Okay, so you can build something like this diagonally. Okay, so somewhere you can have dark lines, somewhere you can have light lines, somewhere you can have gradients. You can keep it random because we are not referring any line eye to draw it, but once you draw a eye referring some photo, you can follow the structures which are there in the photo. Right? Okay. And finally, what we are going to do is there is a layer of darkness around the pupil here. So we'll make the edge of the circle maximum dark. Clear? Am I fast? Am I slow? Is it fine? The pace is fine? Is the pace okay? Can someone give us a thumbs up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Okay. So I think we have 3 more minutes. Is it fine if I extend by a couple of minutes or 5 minutes? I will finish this eye and then close. Yeah. Okay. If someone has to leave, you can drop off. I can post a picture of this, but I think we'll have to continue for 5 more minutes to complete this one. Yeah. Okay. So now eye is starting to take shape. Just make this edge very dark. Okay. And then you can come with some sort of gradient in also, because we don't want abrupt changes in our drawing. Okay, something like this. Okay. Now, one mistake which a lot of people make is they leave this portion, the whites of your eyes, completely white. Okay. But if you see, the whites of our eyes are not completely white. Okay. Since this is again a ball, so say you can assume that there is a sphere here and there is a sphere here, and then this starts to curve inside, right? So you will have very light shades available inside the white of the eye. So this is very important, which a lot of people miss. So never leave the eyes unshaded. Okay, the whites of the eyes unshaded. So you can have some light shades on both the sides to show that the sphere of the eyeball is curving. And towards the edge, you can again come with gradients. So it should not be a very abrupt lightness and darkness, right? So always go in gradients. Okay, and then we are going to just create some highlights here in the teardrop and highlight this and shade this one also. So this we are going to have little darker value than the edge, and this maybe we can have it very dark, yeah, right? And this also you can give some kind of a shade. Right, and I'm just creating one more parallel line here. Parallel, I can say not line, I can say a curve here. Okay, and this is also curving actually for the lower eyelashes. So if you observe the eye, there is a white or a light area, pinkish area from where the eyelashes start. So I have created one more curve below it. Okay. And then I can curve it from here. Some nose will start and so on and so forth. Okay. So next up, we are going to do the eyebrows. So we have the eye. Now we have this line, right? So along this line, always for the eyebrow is very simple. You all follow the hair direction. Okay. So here, say the hairs are falling in this direction. So you can just follow the hair direction. And here you don't need to use sides of pencil. So here if you keep the pencil and hold it from near and keep it pointed, you can get the texture of hair very easily, because hairs are like thin fine lines, right? So I have drawn till the drop of this. Okay, and then I'll start from here and I'll just randomly draw some hairs. So okay, I can go from back and forth. Right now I'm just creating some basic structure, and then I'm going to put a lot of lines on top of it. Okay, so please note here I'm not blending. Okay, because if I blend, I will lose the hair texture. So you have to come in lot of lines, overlapping lines. Okay, and then towards the end, maybe you can try to have the darkest area and leave one or two stray eyebrow hairs here. For it to look complete, right? I'll wait for a minute for everyone to finish this portion. Right? And then once this is done, we are going to create the eyelashes. So eyelashes, okay, for example, you have the curve of eye something like this. Always create from inside out. Okay, you create curves like this. I'm drawing in a distributed fashion, but the idea is you have something like this kind of a structure, this kind of a pencil stroke. Okay, so you just put some curves here. Okay, and as and when the moment it comes on top, it starts crossing each other. something like this. And then you can again go in a different direction and have eyelashes. Right? And you can have more, you can have longer ones. Right, I think we have overshot the time, so it's almost like 1:05. I'll just quickly create the lower eyelashes and shade it in another couple of minutes and send the photo of this to everyone so that you can do it at your own pace, looking at the photo at your home. Okay, so for the bottom eyelid, we just need to create small eyelashes. So if you observe, the top eyelashes are generally bigger, the bottom ones are smaller. Okay, and depending on the portrait and the drawing, some people have bigger eyelashes, some don't have at all. And if you don't want to put too many details in your drawing, sometimes you can also just put 1 or 2 hairs to finish the eyelash. Okay, so more or less the eye is complete. There's one final portion to make it look more 3D like, and that is to create a shade. So basically we create some curves like this. Right now I'm going to do it quickly since we are running out of time, but I will finish this and send it across so that you can do it at a slower pace later today. So I'm leaving a highlight here because for me the light is falling from this angle. Okay, and I'm leaving a highlight here and then shading everything else around it in a very lighter value. Okay, so I've just put some shades so that gives it a 3D kind of a look. Hope you were able to follow, and even if you're not able to follow, I'll just send a photograph of this so that you can follow it. Okay, so with this we'll end our class today. Yes, I can see a lot of eyes. Great, Rajivia. The curves can be more smoother. Yes, great, Liz. Liz, the flow lines, right? You just put the boxes first and then make the curves. Okay, so because I think you have directly tried to draw the curve, and that's where the flow has disturbed a bit. Okay. So what you can do is, we have created a WhatsApp group. You can share all your photographs there from today's session, and I'll try to give feedback to individual people separately. Yeah. Is it fine? Any questions? Can we close?
Ayya, how to be part of the WhatsApp group?
Janishwara, can you help?
Yes, yeah. There is. Are you in the KAILASA's e-Gurukul? Right. Are you in KAILASA's e-Gurukul group, Rajesh? Rajiv, sorry.
Yes, you can add me to the group. I have posted my number on the chat.
I'll put the link in the KAILASA's e-Gurukul. Just click on the link and join.
Okay, sure. Just give me the link. Yes.
Everyone can join via KAILASA's e-Gurukul. There's a link there.
Sure.
Okay, great. So everyone please join and send your photos. I'll give the feedbacks there. Okay, we'll end with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम तत्सत् सर्वं सद्गुरुपादुकार्पणमस्तु ॐ नित्यानन्दम् everyone, see you next week.
Nithyananda.